Well, rather sad news breaking at the moment. Former South African president and anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela, also known as Madiba, is dead. The news of his death was broken a few minutes ago by South African President Jacob Zuma. Well, that's the news that's breaking at the moment. Nelson Mandela, the former South African president and foremost anti-apartheid legend, finally has passed on. Mr. Mandela died after a long spell of illness. Not long ago, he has been on life support, and the news of his death was announced not long ago by the South African president, Jacob Zuma.
Born on the 18th of July 1918, Nelson Kohilala Mandela, whose middle name Kohilala literally means trouble, gave the apartheid government more trouble than they bargained for until apartheid and racial segregation was abolished in the year 1993. Mandela hailed from the royal Thembu dynasty of South Africa's Cape Province, where he had his early education at a Wesleyan mission school and Clackberry boarding school. He received a degree in law from the University College of Fort Hare and the University of Witwatersrand in 1942. The elder statesman made his foray into politics after the 1948 election victory of the Afrikaner-dominated National Party, which supported the apartheid policy of racial segregation. He led the African National Congress 1952 Defiance Campaign and the 1955 Congress of the People, whose adoption of the Freedom Charter provided the fundamental basis of the anti-apartheid cause. Initially committed to non-violent resistance, Mandela and 150 others were arrested on the 5th of December 1956 and charged with treason. The trial ran from 1956 to 1961, following which he became leader of the ANC's armed wing Umkhonto weSizwe, which he co-founded. He coordinated sabotage campaigns against military and government targets, making plans for possible guerrilla war if the sabotage failed to end apartheid. He was arrested in 1962 and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment with hard labor. The next year, he was brought to stand trial with many leaders of the African National Congress and Umkhonto weSizwe for plotting to overthrow the government by violence. This trial was widely publicized. On June 12, 1964, Mandela and 8 of those accused were sentenced to life imprisonment, a sentence he served on Robben Island Prison off Cape Town and later at Portsmouth Prison nearby on the mainland. On February 11, 1990, after 27 years behind bars, Nelson Mandela was released from prison. Following his release, he returned to the leadership of the ANC and between 1990 and 1994 led the party in multi-party negotiations that led to the country's first multiracial elections. The African National Congress won 62% of the votes in the election, and Mandela, as leader of the ANC, was inaugurated on the 10th of May 1994 as the country's first black president. Throughout his term, Mr. Mandela presided over the transition from minority rule and apartheid, winning international respect for his advocacy of national and international reconciliation. After his term as president, Mandela became South Africa's highest profile ambassador, campaigning against HIV/AIDS and securing his country's right to host the 2010 Football World Cup. Following his withdrawal from public life in 2004, Mandela created the Nelson Mandela Foundation, the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, and the Mandela Roads Foundation to continue humanitarian work on his behalf. The world elder statesman will continue to be remembered for his charisma, self-depreciating sense of humor, and lack of bitterness over his harsh treatment. His birth date, July 18, is marked as a national holiday in South Africa, with activities that try to depict the nature and lessons from Madiba.